So, have you ever had one of those moments where you realize, something truly unexpected can happen right in your own neighborhood, pretty close to home?
Yeah, absolutely.
For residents in Silver Spring, Maryland, well, that feeling became very real recently. There's a serious rabies alert out after a raccoon actually bit two individuals.
hmm
It's just a stark reminder, isn't it, that public health concerns are often, well, much closer than we might think. Okay, let's unpack this.
Right. And our deep dive today, it's really all about cutting through any confusion and giving you the absolute essentials on this. It's a critical public health issue.
Okay.
So we'll dissect the specifics of what happened in Silver Spring, explain precisely what rabies is, why it's such a serious concern, and most importantly, we want to equip you with the practical steps.
What to actually do?
Exactly. For prevention and for immediate action if needed. This knowledge, honestly, it's vital for your personal safety and for the whole community.
So, this specific incident, it's not just some abstract news story. It really brings the threat right to people's backyards, doesn't it?
It really does.
The Montgomery County Office of Animal Services and also the Department of Health and Human Services, they put out this alert. A raccoon bit two people. This was in the 1800 block of Franwell Avenue in Silver Spring. And the immediate, frankly, terrifying concern is that this animal, well, it could be infected with rabies.
Yeah. And what's fascinating here is, well, fascinating but also incredibly alarming, is just the sheer danger of rabies itself. It's a deadly virus.
Right.
It directly attacks the central nervous system,
Yeah.
so essentially your brain and your spinal cord.
Yeah.
This leads to severe neurological damage.
And how does it spread? Just bites?
Mostly bites, yeah.
Mm.
But it can also transmit through contact with infected saliva getting into, say, an open wound or mucous membranes. What people sometimes don't grasp is that once those clinical symptoms appear, rabies is almost invariably fatal,
Wow.
which is why immediate action, even before any symptoms might show up, is basically your only real defense. It's absolutely a medical emergency, no question.
Okay, so when we're talking about rabies, which animals are the usual suspects, the ones we really need to be aware of around here? And, how common is this risk in our region, really?
Well, the predominant carriers we typically see in Maryland are raccoons, bats, and skunks. Those are the main wildlife reservoirs.
Okay.
But, and this is important, domestic animals, like dogs and cats, can also carry and transmit it if they aren't vaccinated.
Right, even indoor pets sometimes.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture,
Yeah.
look, rabies has been well established in Maryland's wildlife, particularly raccoons, since about 1983.
So decades.
Decades. This means exposure isn't some rare one-off thing. It can happen, theoretically, anywhere, anytime, especially as wildlife adapts more and more to our suburban and even urban environment.
It's happening all the time.
All the time. That's precisely why the advice is always to avoid all wild or unknown animals. Just keep your distance.
Okay, avoiding them is key. But what if you do encounter an animal? What specific behaviors should immediately, raise a red flag for listeners? Signal a potential rabies threat. Here's where it gets really interesting for practical safety, I think.
Yeah, that's a great question. You absolutely need to watch for suspicious animal behaviors. And it's not just outright aggression, though that's certainly one sign.
Okay.
It can also be unusual friendliness, an animal that seems way too tame or has no fear of humans. Or, on the flip side, disorientation, staggering, paralysis starting in the hind legs, maybe.
So acting weirdly friendly is just as much a warning sign as acting aggressive.
It absolutely can be. I remember hearing about a case where someone thought a fox acting strangely docile was just, a friendly stray. They got way too close.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, almost led to a serious exposure because they misinterpreted that tameness. Any animal showing these kinds of abnormal signs, you need to give it a very wide berth. Avoid contact completely. The urgency there, it really can't be overstated.
Okay, so given that urgency, if someone does find themselves in this awful situation, maybe they or their pet had contact, especially with a raccoon, say, from that specific Silver Spring area recently, what is the immediate critical protocol? So what does this all mean for you if you or your pet had contact?
Right. The advice is crystal clear. If you or your pet had any contact with a raccoon in that 1-800 block of Franwell Avenue area, you need to seek medical or veterinary care right away.
Immediately.
Immediately. Even if it seems like just a scratch or minor contact, don't wait. And then you need to report it.
How do you do that?
To report any suspicious animal behavior or potential contact, you should call the Montgomery County Office of Animal Services. Their number is 240-773-5900.
Yep. And of course, in any true emergency situation, you call 911.
Now, this raises an important question. All this is reactive, right? What about being proactive?
Exactly. What is the single most effective layer of protection we can put in place for our pets, which then protects us and our families too?
It's straightforward, really. The single best protection for everyone, yourselves, your families, your pets, is making absolutely sure your animals are up to date on their rabies vaccinations.
That's simple.
It really is that fundamental. You know, sometimes people think, oh, my cat stays indoors, it's fine. But a bat can get into the house. A cat or dog could slip out accidentally. Vaccination is just critical for all pets,
Yeah.
period.
And is there help available for that? Sometimes vet visits can be costly.
There is. For folks looking for a practical resource, the Montgomery County Office of Animal Services actually offers a low-cost rabies vaccination clinic. It's every Wednesday.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, really helpful. You can find all the details on our website, montgomerycountymd.gov Animal Services.
Okay. Good resource.
Definitely. And just so folks know, officials right now are actively investigating. They're trying to locate the specific animal involved in this Silver Spring incident.
Yeah.
So the message is, stay alert, keep your pets close and vaccinated, and help spread the word in the community.
Absolutely. This incident in Silver Spring, it's just such a powerful, very local reminder that vigilance, and especially that preventative action like getting pets vaccinated, it's just paramount for keeping everyone safe in the community.
It really is. And maybe a final thought to leave you with. How does understanding specific local alerts, like this rabies incident right here in Silver Spring, how does that deepen your awareness of broader public health and safety? Do they make you feel, I guess, more informed, maybe more prepared as a member of your community in ways you might not have really considered before? Something to think about.